Hello everyone, Another Trey here, and welcome to episode 20 of Another Trey's Let's Play Modded Minecraft for version 1.21. To get started today, I'm going back to this bastion that we found at the beginning, and I'm looking for some chests because I never yet found I haven't yet found a template for the netherite stuff. Ah, there's one. So that's actually probably the easiest time I've ever had finding a netherite template. So that's pretty awesome. But like I said last time, today I want to work on... Is that a gold block? No, that's a shroom. Light. Today I want to work on upgrading our applied energistics system. So we don't actually even need to be here anymore. But before we do that, I went to find that template because you can duplicate these guys with some netherrack and some diamonds. Netherrack, got it. Throw that in our system. Should have thrown that in a drawer. Oh well. And then if I use that on this guy, I can make some extras of these. Let's make a couple more just in case. And then I should be able to take a piece of netherite and our backpack and get this guy upgraded to a netherite backpack, which I believe is the final tier of these backpacks. Yeah, it looks like it. So we'll go ahead and throw him on our back. That doesn't look much bigger than the diamond one. There's probably an extra upgrade. But yeah, so today I want to take this space right overhead here and use it to make a new part of our applied energistics system. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get this changed out. Okay, now that we've got our ceiling prepared, we can go ahead and get ready to do the next part of our applied energistics system, which is going to be the assembler matrix, which is a part of the extended AE mod. And the first thing we're going to need is these. So I changed the controls here a little bit. Normally by default you will actually have the guide set to a key. We're going to go ahead and set this to, I think it's G by default, so we'll just set it to that. So now whenever you mouse over an item from applied energistics or any of applied energistics add-ons, or most of them anyway, you can go ahead and hold G and it's going to open to that page of the guide. So for the assembler matrix, I believe, yeah, it can be with edge lengths between 3 and 7. So I guess that means it can be up to a 7 by 7 by 7. We're going to do a 5 by 5 by 7, I think, because that's still pretty big. So if we have a side that's 5, that's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12, 16 on each side is 32. And then 5 on 4 sides is another 20. So 52. We need 52 frames to make the frame of this thing. Let's see if we go here. Well, let's actually start getting the parts of this put in here to be auto crafted. This part is made like this. We are going to need a lot of these entro infused ingots, which means we're going to have to be auto crafting these. We're going to need a lot of entro dust, so we should probably be auto crafting that as well. Let's go ahead and just start putting all this stuff in here to be auto crafted. Does this have to be quartz glass? I assume it probably does. Yes, it looks like it does. So let's go ahead and get that. And then that should allow us to get this. Then we just got to put this in each of the things. So the entro infused ingots are made in the reaction chamber. This guy's just a crafting recipe, as well as this guy. So if we go ahead and try to make these, it's probably going to say you don't have the dust. Yeah, and we also need the Certus quartz dust. And lapis. We're actually short on lapis. What I'm thinking about doing was, I was leaving this space open for a netherite geode, but we never found one. I've never found one ever in any game that I've played. So I think we might make this lapis. Yeah, I think that'll be good. We do have, oh, you know what? We never set this guy up. Okay, that's why we don't have any amethyst. So what we should do here is do the amethyst clusters as well, and then those should start breaking, and we'll have amethyst now. And should have done that. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do now real quick is go ahead down and find, I know I've found a lapis geode. So I'm going to go down and grab that guy and then come back and set him up over there, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that he's got a new home here, let's go ahead and put some upgrades in here. This, and we should have lapis coming in now. The other thing we're going to need to do is set up our auto crafting system to be able to make dust. So let's go ahead and make a sag mill real quick. We do need 2 dark steel again, which means we're going to need 2 iron, 2 coal dust. There's a called coal powder. And 2 obsidian. And while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and grab some Certus, because we are going to need a bunch of Certus dust. We might as well have some of that going while we're waiting. Okay. So sag mill's going to need a piston as well. We'll go ahead and auto craft that, and that'll get us a sag mill. We're also going to need a extended pattern provider. Oh, and we're out of logs again. That is going to be something we're going to solve in the next episode or two before we get into enchanting, because we're going to need wood. So let's go ahead and grab... Starting to run out of nearby trees. Extended pattern provider. We'll go ahead and put him here next to this sag mill. Now the sag mill is going to need a capacitor, and obviously we're going to go for the top tier, so let's make one of these. We're going to need 2 vibrant alloys, which we haven't taught the system how to make. So for those, we're going to need 2 energetics and 2 ender pearls. And then just run over to our alloy smelter real quick. Get me here. Let's take this dust. Get some more going while we're at it. Okay, so now we should be able to make our capacitors. You know what? We can make... Oh, we only need 1. And put him in here. And then from there, we should be able to get some power into this guy. We're going to have to come down 1 here. Yep. Okay, then we should have a powered up sag mill. Yep, he's got power coming in. We do want to remember to set to push and pull from the back, because he's going to feed in from the extended pattern provider, and then he's going to put his output back out. And then we need to do a recipe for intro dust right here, and then that can go in here. Now the question is, how long is it going to take to do all of that? Well, let's see what happens if we put in this guy and we say we need 52 of these. It's now happy. It's got everything it needs. We're going to hit start. We're going to keep an eye on this guy. So the first thing it's doing is it's making up all these dust. This is going to be the slowest part, even though it's as fast as it can get. Well, not necessarily. There's actually capacitors that are even faster. You can go up to this one, stellar capacitor, which has a base modifier of 5. This one only has 3, so it's almost twice as fast again. And we'll probably do that at some point. This is just a long crafting recipe. Goes through a lot of steps. So as soon, this says it's going to take about a minute, but that's not including all the time that it's going to take to make these dusts. So it is still continuing to put the dusts in. This is going to take a minute, so I'm going to go ahead and cut here, and I'll be back when this is done. So it looks like it was able to craft some of our matrix frames already. So I'm going to go ahead, and it looks like it's crafting a bunch more. It's only got 4 left. I'm going to go ahead and take those and start to flesh out the frame of this thing. So like I said, oh, you know what? Let's get those guys. Hang on. Gotta kill 5. Here's 2. Come here, boys. They can't see me because of the mind fog add-on, so they're just kind of flying around. Now I think they see me. So he's dead. Did we get... Oh, yeah, we only need 1 more membrane. Where'd that other one go? I hear him. Oh, there he is. Of course. We need 1 more membrane. Should have got the looting enchantment. Anyway, let's go back down here. And go ahead and grab the rest of our frames that should be done. And then we're just building a 5x5. Then what we need to do next is make all the walls, which fills in all these outside pieces. So this is what, 3x5, so 15 times 4 is going to be 60 just of those, and then 18 here, so 78. Is that right? 15, 30, 45, 60, and 18. 78 wall pieces. I believe the wall pieces are a bit cheaper. But let's see. So we're making a matrix. So similar matrix wall. I mean, it still takes enter infused crystals, but it makes, or ingots, but it makes 2 at a time. So if we go ahead in here and we say make a crafting recipe, and then we go in here. And then, what did I say? 678? Seems like a lot. It looks like we have everything though. So we're gonna let that craft. Looks like it doesn't have a lot of problems with that. It says it's only gonna take 2 seconds, and most of that is because it needs to grind up that entro seeds. How many are we doing on entro crystals, by the way? No, we still have a lot. I think we'll be fine. This hasn't been running for a while, but I guess I had it running for a while. So as soon as those are done, it should zip through all of this crafting. There it goes, and we're done. All right, so then we take our walls, and we're just gonna fill in these outside edges. All right, and then we got 15 left, which are these bottom 15, but we're not going to put those in yet because now we have to do the inside, and the inside is actually the important part. So there's 3 different pieces you can put on the inside. There's the pattern cores, the craft cores, and the speed cores. Pattern cores will determine how many of these crafting slots you have. So for like in here, each pattern core, I believe, let me double check, but I think it's like 36 slots that it gives, but let's read down here below. Yeah, so each pattern core provides 36 pattern slots, which is awesome. The assembler matrix craft are the ones that act like the modular assemblers. So this build is going to basically replace this little system we have here, but that is going to be replaced by those. And then the last thing we can put in are the speed upgrades, these assembler matrix speed cores. And that's basically taking the place of the acceleration cards. That's going to make it run the crafts faster. It can only have up to 5 with them. That'll make it run full speed. So let's go ahead and do those first since they're limited. We're going to do speed cores. We're going to teach the system how to make this. This is where we're going to start needing lumen paintballs. So in order to teach the system how to make those, I think we're not going to teach the system how to make those, but we are going to need a bunch of matter balls. So we're going to go up here to this guy that's making our singularities, and we're going to switch him to making matter balls, and he's going to make them super quickly because they don't take much to make, and he's just full of cobblestone at all times. So now that we have those, we're going to throw those in the system, and we're going to go here. So for these, we're going to need 5, which means we're going to need 30 red lumen paintballs, and which means we're going to need, what's the closest we can make to this? 30 is 8, so 36. So yeah, let's make 32 actually, and then those need to be turned into the lumen ones. We'll throw these in, and then we'll throw those in the system. So now it should have all those that it needs. Then if we go over here, we teach the system. We already taught the system how to make these. We're going to go down here, and then we're just going to request 5 of these. And if we look over here, we should see it's not going to take very long at all. It's just going to zip right through this. All right, and we've got our 5 core speed cores. These we're just going to go ahead and throw here. So now that we've got 5 of those, I would basically, I think, like to split the difference on the rest. So what were the other 2? So we've got craft cores and pattern cores. So each crafting core can actually run 8 crafting jobs at the same time, which means if we have 5 of those, we can run 40 crafting jobs simultaneously. So how many spaces do we have left? The internal of this is 3 by 3 by 5, so 40 spots. I think we might do like 10 of the craft cores just to be safe. And I have to make sure that I put these in the crystal assembler, which we're running out of space. Let's actually make a extended pattern provider for our crystal assembler, because we're quickly running out of space for this. And then we should be able to go yoink. And then this, and then this, and this. So now we got plenty more space in there. We're gonna go ahead and, did we make our purple crafting recipe? Yes. So we're gonna make, I think, like 10 of those for our matrix. So that's gonna need 60 purple lumen balls. We're gonna need extended molecular assemblers. So let's go ahead and teach our system how to make those. Those are made in here as well. And then in order to make these guys, we're gonna need 60 of the purple lumen balls. So let's go ahead and make those. We don't have purple dye, but we should be able to make dye. So red. That should be plenty, right? And then so we need 60 of these. 64 is as close as we're going to be able to get. And then they need to be these ones. Then we should be able to just do, oops, that would have been bad. 10 of these. We're gonna need a bunch more wood for the crafters. We're gonna need more silicone, we're gonna need more fluix dust, and we're gonna need more certus. So what we're gonna have to do is teach our system how to make some stuff. So we're gonna do certus dust in the sag mill. Eventually we're going to want to teach the system how to do, we do not want that to use the charged. We're going to have to teach the system how to use or how to make the dust directly from some other way so that we don't have to wait on the sag mill. But that'll get that rolling for now. And then we're also going to need fluix dust. So that should make that happy. Then if we go back to our matrix and say, oh, you know what? We did need some wood. Let me cut down a bunch of trees and I'll be back. All right. So now that we have a bunch of wood that we can throw in here, we should be able to go ahead and hopefully need some silicone. So let's make some quartz blend, which we have a bunch of actually. So let's just pick this up real quick. Love how fast these furnaces are. We'll throw that in the system and then go back to our matrix. And can we now make 10 of these? Yay! Let's get that going. Keep an eye on this. So the longest thing is going to be making the dusts, just like the intro dust. Making the fluix and the certus dust takes a while too. So it's actually... oh, we don't have enough power coming in. We might be starting to have power problems, folks. It might just be that the cables... yeah, we need a higher tier cable, I think. So this section might need replaced, and we might just put a cell here to kind of act as a transformer in between here and there. Yeah. Oh, now it went back up again, which is strange. I don't know, I guess it's fine for now. We'll deal with that when we have to. While we're waiting for that to craft, let's go ahead and do some hunting for phantoms. Also, here's the outside. I'm gonna have to like do something about the way this looks out here pretty soon, but yeah, this is the top of our assembler that we're working on. There we go. All right, come on, at least one of you boys has to give me a membrane, right? Should be the last one we need. Where's this deep mob learner guy? All right. It's funny how with the mind fog upgrade, they can't even see me from up in the sky, so they don't even attack me. Hey, there's our last membrane. We should be able to do the flight upgrade now. And we need one more. One more. Hey, guy. There we go. Last one. Come here. Come here. Hooray! Basic model. Woo. So let's go check and see how our craft is coming along. Get this out of here. And we have the 10 assembler matrix cores. So let's go ahead and put these in here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now we should have what? 3 by 3 by 3 is 27, 30. We still have 30 open slots. That's so many slots. Let's do 3 more of these just to fill that out. We have 14 purple lumen balls. Once these go down to 0, it should pretty much finish in a second or two. Yeah, it's just going to zip through the rest of it because the crafting is so fast. So now we've got those 3. Then we've got 3x3x3, which is 27 slots left for the pattern cores. So for these, we're going to need these. So 27. How many does this need? 6. And then let's do 6 times 27. 162. So we need 162 blue lumen paintballs. That's gonna be fun. Okay, we've got tons of logs again. Throw all this in the system. Then if we say we want 27 of these guys, he is gonna go. It looks like most of the crafting is gonna be making the logs. There's actually a thing that I want to make called a requester that's going to solve this problem. Yeah, we're going to do that after we're done crafting what we're currently crafting, but basically this is going to allow us to tell the system to keep certain things in stock, like logs, like not logs, planks. Take the logs and make like 512 planks to be available at all times. So we're going to do that after this matrix is completed, because right now we're finishing up building this. You know what, we're gonna need to build some more of those walls because we used them in another crafting recipe because we threw them in the system instead of leaving them in our inventory, but that's fine. So what are we waiting on here? Just a little bit of crafting. It looks like this is a little bit slow. I mean, it's doing a lot, don't get me wrong, this is moving very quickly, but once this is done, it'll be much faster because it can do way more of the crafts at the same time instead of only being able to do the 2 that we can right now. So yeah, that is done. But once this is done, those kinds of crafts will be much faster, which is what we're going to need to make one of our future projects, the quantum computer, which is going to make our crafting just absolutely insane. So now we just need the 15 walls to fill that in. This one here, no problem making that. It's actually going to make a bunch of it right away. And then what's it waiting on? It's waiting for intro dust to be ground up. But in the meantime, we can take these 4 walls, go here, 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 and here. We're also going to need to connect this up to our system. Can we make some cables, or can we not? We probably can. We're missing some wool. Did we ever get a sheep? A sheep dude. We did. Let's make some sheep predictions. Just because then we can get some wool. I do want to build a sheep farm eventually so that we don't have to use predictions to do that. But for now, let's go ahead and... How much wool do we have? 14. That's not very many cables, but we can see if that'll get us there. Basically, we just have to connect this assembler up to our controller, just so it has power. So let's go ahead and do. So that should be a multi-block structure, but it still needs connected to our system. So let's go up top, and then find where it pokes out of the ground, which is here. And then we should be able to just find, where's the center of this guy here? Yep, it's right there. So let's go ahead and hook a cable up to that. And then we should just be able to go do, and now we're connected. Turns all blue, and we are good to go. Now all we should have to do is run back down to our control room. Oh, you know what we can do? I always forget about this. So we can actually just go... Boop. Don't even have to come back, and it's going to close itself up. Nice. All right, so now that that's done, if we look in here, we should see we have tons of space for patterns. Like, it just goes. It doesn't look like it's going very fast, But trust me, once we get down to here, you can kind of see how fast it's going. This is a lot of space for patterns. So we're gonna empty out our inventory. This guy in here, we're gonna put these in here. The wither skeleton predictions we're gonna throw in here for now. We don't really need them at the moment. Let's put our, do we have an extra, we have an extra wall. Throw the wood in, the seeds. We don't need this tin. But for now, since we have a bunch of inventory space, we should be able to one by one take these apart. Uh-oh. Okay, and then we're gonna break down this guy. This can go into the system. There, those are all patterns. And then we can... You know what, I think we're gonna have to do these by actually placing them in, which is going to be a little bit slow, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and get these all organized, and then I'll come back and we'll finish up. Okay, so now that we're all organized again, you can tell a little better how far this goes. Like, we have so much room. We'll never need more room for crafting recipes with this guy going, with the assembler matrix. So yeah. The other thing that I want to do real quick at the end of this episode is I actually want to make a new block called an IO port from Applied Energistics, which is an MEIO port right here. We're going to need 2 of these guys. Let's see, MEIO port. And then we just need that. So this guy is really awesome. We're going to go ahead and just temporarily put him, I guess a good space is just right here. We got to hook him up. Is he on? Did he connect? He might have actually connected to this guy. So basically what he does is he allows us to take cells and put them in here, storage cells, and it will dump them into our Applied Energistics system. So what I want to do is make a 256 cell here. We are going to need some more silicone for that. So let's do our quartz blend. We're out of sand again. Should be as easy as throwing that in there. I should put dark steel balls in here for when we do the sand, but it's fine for now. It'll just get us the sand we need. How much sand did we need? That's enough to get started. All right, and then I'll go smelt this up. Okay, and then we should be able to go ahead and make our 256, hopefully. Yeah, let that craft up for a minute, and that should pretty much get that done. Okay, and then with our 256 storage cell, we can turn that into a 256K ME disk drive. We do need a little bit more quartz glass. And then once that's done, we can stick that there. So this guy is the same size as the 256 we have here, but it doesn't have that type limitation, which means we can go ahead and put this guy in here and take these 2 out. There will now be nothing in our system because, well, other than what's in the drawers, but all the stuff that was in our disks is sitting right here. But now we can go ahead to this guy and throw these discs in here, and it's going to move all of our items that we have on these discs back into the system and put them on this disc. So you'll see this disc is kind of bouncing around because there's actually an item coming in that's not being filtered. I'm going to have to find out what that is because it's constantly making our system go up. So some drawer must have filled up, and we still have items coming in because it's not voiding them. So I'll have to figure out what that is. But in the meantime, we can go ahead and throw this guy in here as well. and he is also going to have all his items drained into the system very quickly. And now everything is on this one disk, and it's only using 30,000 out of the 256,000 bytes that we have available. The other thing we can do now that these disks are empty is we can hold them in our hand and shift right click to take the storage component out, and then we just have this empty case and the 16K. We're not going to need these anymore because they're old and garbage. So now we're going to go ahead and throw these in the system, and we can make another 256 with this guy in it, so that we have so much more storage. So we're gonna go ahead and throw those in there. This will last us basically forever. If we need to make more, we can make more, but in the meantime, that's good. So that should make our system pretty crazy at this point. Anything we craft, we can also, well, no, we still need these. So these are still doing the actual crafting, or taking care of controlling the crafting recipes. The next thing we're going to want to do, we're not quite ready for it yet, is we're going to make a quantum computer, and that's going to replace our actual crafting system. So if we look and see what it takes to make one of these, I think we can pretty much make everything we need to do this, but it's a matter of having the resources to do it. But for now, that's going to be an episode. We finished our assembler matrix, which is awesome. In the next episode, I think before we get into enchanting, what we're going to do is work on, hey, this started going again. It must be crafting those seeds again. Oh, probably because I made all that dust for the intro stuff. So that's cool. But yeah, before we get into this, I think we're going to do a tree farm. And we might also take a look at our sand system here, because it's going really slowly. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to make some dark steel ingots. Okay, we got our dark steel, which means we can make some dark steel balls. And then if we throw these in here, this should, you know what? We're going to need some for both of these. This one looks like it's locked up for some reason. Probably because, oh, I don't know. But we'll go ahead and stick the dark steel balls in there. Oh, this is grinding up glass into sand now. Oh, our system got confused. It's pulling glass out of here instead of that. So in order to fix that, we're gonna have to filter this output. Yeah, because I didn't know glass could be ground into sand. Yeah, that's what's causing that problem. All right, so let's make a filter real quick for this. I thought we had some filters. Did we put them in our backpack? Did we put them over here? There they are. What's in this guy? So sand only. We want this to be set to gravel only. That explains why it's been taking our system so long to get to sand. So now the system should only be able to put gravel in here. Let's take this glass out, and now it's only going to put gravel in. So that's better. He's running good now. Which is going to allow this to run again. And you can see it's making like sometimes as much as 3 or 4 sand per gravel because of these dark steel balls. So that should help us out a lot. Let's go ahead and throw this flint in here. We should also see our flint numbers start to go up again. This guy's still going. We could also put some dark steel balls in here to make more gravel. And then we're just gonna have to keep an eye on it. But yeah, that should be working better now. We should start to see sand come in, and our glass is going up again, so that's cool. But yeah, so the next episode, like I said, we're going to work on a tree farm in some interesting ways. So thanks for joining me, guys. If you like the episode, please go ahead and give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.